Hey everybody, it's Maureen. Just checking in. I haven't actually made a video in quite some time, and I have a few new dolls that I wanted to share. This one actually is a new one. Her name is Temperance. I actually used a lot of Silk Moire, and it looks like sari trim, but it's just the right scale for dolls because look at the spangles on this. They're just the right size. I had the same color or same trim design in two different colors. I've been able to find a vendor that's been selling this online, so when they post something that is a different color, I pick it up because it is just too pretty. And they're selling it in like 30-yard lots. So what's really nice is I've used, a little bit for her, but there's still plenty enough left for something to make for myself at some point. But yeah, I used a black silk moire for the underskirt and for the sleeves. And then I used a purple silk satin for the outer dress. And then of course that trim. This is actually left over from the belt that I created for myself for my Order of the Laurel. So I added some laurel like pendants to her. We have a lace ruff, lace cuffs. And then I even used a little bit of the trim on the back of her head there to create a little bun cover and all sorts of things. So she's looking extra fancy. And then of course, I have these two dolls that I had made, well over a year ago now. This is what my workstation looks like. So when I'm creating dolls, I have, a little retinue and entourage doing their thing. So this one is also a new friend here. This is Diane Découvre, French for copper, because we have lots of copper trim. And this actually ended up being very much like a wire. It's very wiry, very springy. So I went ahead and used that on the edge of her veil. And then I found this trim, just like a corded metallic trim at Michael's. And then of course pearls out the wazoo. We have so many pearls, and this one turned out pretty awesome as well. She's a little squished in here, unfortunately, but we have a nice belt. We've got the pearl trim. It goes down and around on here, and then all the way down and around on the hanging sleeves. So she has actual hanging sleeves here. So we've got like a little silk partlet and a little ruff and some, she actually already had earrings, so I was just able to add some drop pearls. Temperance actually has diamond earrings. I didn't bother changing them to pearls, but not everybody has to wear pearls. Of course, we have our other friends over here who have not at all changed. But in front of my dolly friends, this is where I sort of keep my stash of things. So I have some knitting needles, and then some of them are in bone besides the wood in the background. I'll have I use a lot of jam jars to store small bits and bobs, a lot of beads normally, and jewelry findings. This piece, I don't know if I had showed it before, but this piece ended up being a replica of a vintage sewing stand. And so obviously I use it as a sewing stand. So I have like my different pairs of scissors. I have a seam ripper, a couple different needle cases, all of my different colored threads. Mostly I keep my linen on here because that's the one that I use the most. And then of course various different pins. And I think I have shown this one to you. This one is I found this one also at one of my local thrift shops. It basically has a certain amount of stuffing to it, so I use it as a pin cushion. but definitely could use it technically for making doll clothes if I wanted to. I have a couple of the candle holders that I've been using since I had a recent elevation to the Order of the Laurel within the SCA that happened back in March. So, been busy getting that ready, and then also just I had a work change as well. Like I had been working for a company for 10 years. They downsized, so now I'm working for a different company. So there's also that adjustment period of getting used to working for a new place, and it's a more physical job, and I'm not working from home anymore, unfortunately. I really did enjoy working from home, but I'm not finding any remote roles like I did when the pandemic was sort of happening. Definitely the work world wants people back on site, unfortunately. My cats are not fans. So there are a whole bunch. I have some nippers here and a couple different things and some scissors. So this is sort of turned into a makeshift tool stand by accident. One of the other things that I ran into is actually having a couple OTT lights nearby, or little clip lights, has been very handy, especially if the light in here, especially later in the day, ends up being different. And I've also been working on name lists for dolls, so that is also something that I've been doing lately. So those are the two newest ones that I've been working on at this point. And my little work stand. I am currently working on what I like to call beer wives, and I can actually show you a cool little accessory. I found these 4 steins, and they're, you know, actual ceramic with little pewter lids. I found these at a local antique store, and they actually are part of a 4-piece set that Anheuser-Busch had made, celebrating sort of German heritage beer making. And what I'm going to do is I have some dolls off to the side that have big enough hands that, you know, can fit inside the loops. I'm going to create 4 16th century German styled dolls that are going to actually, one will each hold one of these steins. Now, a couple of them actually have like the Bavarian crest, and there's actually some wording in German, which I think is awesome. Very cute. And this is what they call a salt glaze, where you have that gray color with the blue, very traditional ceramic glaze. You'll hear it called salt glazing. They actually still use this well into the 18th century, and there are potters down in like Colonial Williamsburg that actually still make ceramics using this kind of glaze. But actually it does show that they're made in Germany, so that was actually a nice little feature. But these were just collectibles that Anheuser-Busch had made. I'm not sure how long ago, but it's been a little while. But each of these will get a little dolly friend, and then I'm going to make them outfits out of wool with, of course, like a linen smock type of shirt. We're not going to really do as many ruffs on them per se. It's just going to be the linen doing its job, because these are going to be more middling class variety kind of ladies out for a beer run or some day drinking, however you want to put it. And I'm sorry about my voice. I'm actually fighting a little bit of a cold, but it was a great opportunity to be able to provide an update for y'all. Of course, if you have any questions about all of the doll making any of the processes or any questions about the different like time frames that I create, which mainly is actually within the SCA time frame. So I do like German, French, English, Italian. I stick to those particular areas mainly, but there are a lot more SCA countries, or countries that the SCA covers within the time frame. Those just happen to be the European ones, are the ones I'm the most familiar with. And then we throw in a little bit of fantasy for fun, because little fairy dolls, why not? I couldn't help but love the little cap here, which is very Italian. I found this little doll friend here. Was at like Goodwill of all things, a Christmas decoration. I just gave her wings, and the wings were of course the right size for her little self. But some of my other friends are holding friends, because you know this is how we operate. You know, all the doll friends have doll friends. But as I was saying before, if you have any questions regarding methods, practices, how to create doll clothes in general, more about the Society for Creative Anachronism, or anything like that, please feel free to leave me a question in the comments. I do my best to upload dolly content at least once a month. And we have all the crafty goodness going on here. And I will talk to you in my next video. Have a great day. Bye.